Okay, I'm going to show you how to take attendance and track attendance inside Canvas. First of all, check this sidebar here and see if attendance is listed. And if it's not, which it's not listed in my list, you have to go into Settings. And once you're into Settings, you need to go to this Navigation tab up here. Click that. And this is where you decide what displays on the side there, which tools are enabled. So I'm going to go here and look for the hidden tools, and I'm going to find attendance. Oh, here it is. I'm going to click on attendance, and I'm going to scroll up and add it in this list. Now, you're not done yet. The last thing you have to do here is scroll down a little bit more and save this change that you just made. Okay, and so now you'll see that attendance is actually showing up on my navigation here, and it's enabled. So I'm going to click on this attendance tool and show you how it works. Okay, the default here is to have a list of students. Sometimes I teach classes that have a variety of subsections, and so this drop-down menu will have the different subsections. So if you don't see all your students, check that drop-down menu to see if there's for some reason, however your institution does it, divided into subsections. But in this class, I just have one section, so that doesn't apply. With this, on this list, this button right here kind of looks, the circle with the slash, means that you haven't marked anything for that student. Let's say I wanted to mark this student as here. I click that, and that checks a green check, student is attending. If I click here, that means the student is absent. And if I click here, that means the student is tardy. And if I click on it one more time, it reverts back to the null, which just means nothing, no information. So that's one way you can take attendance. The other thing you can do is create a seating chart for your class. Whether you tell your students where to sit, that's your business. I don't, but you can also just kind of put their name where they happen to be sitting in the classroom at times. So if this person was sitting here, I'd move them to that desk, maybe move that person there, maybe this person's in the front row, etc., etc. And then when I'm done, if I wanted to, I could click to take attendance and use the seating chart to take attendance by clicking on them. And that if you are the kind of person that likes to look at your students visually and see if they're there, this can make that a little bit easier. If you want to edit them back out of the seating chart, just move them, drag and drop them over to this list. So basically the two views you need to remember is up here in these two tabs, that you can see it as class in a chart, or you can see it as a list if that works better for your attendance system. So the next thing you need to decide is how you want attendance to look in the gradebook or in the assignment tool for your students. So you can click over here to assignments, and you're going to see that it automatically kind of created this section for roll call attendance in here. You can decide if you want it to be a percentage of the grade, set it up like the regular grade book. I don't actually have attendance automatically count as any percentage of a grade, so I leave that at 0, but if you want to make it a percentage of the grade, you can do that. If we click on this, it allows us to make some changes to the attendance settings as well. What I do, I go into edit assignment settings here, and you can decide how you want the grade to display. What is the max grade if you're using points or percentage or whatever. What I do is I make it not graded, so it does not go into students' grades. But you can play around with that like any other assignment in the gradebook and decide how you want the grade to appear and how you want it to calculate. As always, don't forget to save any changes that you've made. Okay, I clicked back on the attendance tool over here, and the very last thing I'm going to show you are just a couple more options you can play with. If you go up here and drop down to roll call settings, you can just check a box here to not count the attendance as towards the final grade. And the other thing you can do is decide what happens to lateness. So you can count it, if they're, for example, the default that it's showing here is you could count lateness as an 80% or however you want to deal with it. The other thing you can do up here in this is email a report to someone. So if you have an advisor or a coach or somebody who needs to see attendance, you can send it to yourself and then forward it on to them, or you can send it straight to anybody else's email address here.